In this video, I'm going to tell you about the recent water fast I did. From the time I decided to start the fast, I did a 1-week keto to ease into having no food. Then I fasted for about 9 days, and that's when I broke my fast, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So sit back.
Hi, and thank you for clicking on my video. Today I'm going to tell you about my fast, why I decided to do a fast, and how it's been going. Today's day 5, and I'll let you know. I made a few notes. I got 3 pages of notes, and we'll go through it. So the reason I started the fast was I needed to get into new habits. I've been trying to get back on a keto diet. I was on a keto diet a couple years ago for a year, and it was really good. My blood work was always good. My weight was good, and I had more energy. But I ate pizza, and that just gave me cravings for carbs. And I'll tell you, for 2 years, year and a half, I couldn't get off of that craving. And I kind of embraced this slogging lifestyle. I was eating ice cream, cookies, a lot of pizza. So what I thought I would do is book a Airbnb for 10 days and see how it goes. There's no food in this place, and I have plenty of water, and I brought electrolytes, and so see if that gets me going. The other things that I like about fasting is I like the benefits of the autophagy and the cancer prevention. So what happened there? My screen just went blank. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I had a high PSA a couple years ago, which is a indicator of prostate cancer, and then I had a MRI, and the MRI showed a spot. So before I could get biopsies done on that, I had done a 4-day fast, and then I did another PSA, and it went from 4 to 3. It went down, and then the biopsy showed no cancer at all. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the fast, but the urologist told me that I had a 40% chance that there would be no cancer. So maybe that was what it was. So we'll see what happens. And I'd like to do some weight loss here. So when I decided to do it, I was up to 246 pounds, up from 203 pounds when I was on keto. And 246 is pretty heavy for me. So to get ready for the fast, I switched to a keto diet about a week before I was going to start. One of the reasons I did that was, and the keto diet is, it's basically eggs and cheese. Eggs and cheese. Mostly I ate eggs. And I would eat wings and brisket. Go out with my friends and get some brisket. And the thing about keto is when you go into it, a lot of people do, you get what's known as keto fluid. It feels like the flu. You have aches and pains, and you feel like you're sick. And I didn't want to have that hit me when I was actually fasting. I was going to be hungry and fasting. So I got into keto, and I used the urinalysis strips, which showed that I was in ketosis. So I was good to go. Matter of fact, let me go get those strips, and I'll show you what they look like. Okay. Gotta touch that screen, turn it back on. So these are the keto strips. They're just little strips. They have a little thing that changes color when you urinate on it. And it gives you a scale. The darker color means more ketosis. So I was in here when I started, and I've stayed here to the second highest. And one day I went this high, and I'll tell you about that when I get there. So it's going great so far. I find I keep thinking, oh, it's time to go get a pizza. It's time to go get something to eat. So don't have cravings. I just think, oh, it's time to go eat. Um, and I got to tell you, having no food in the house, I think makes it quite a bit easier for me because all I have is water. And, the other thing that's going on is I have muscle aches. So my day one was a drive from Orlando to just outside of Asheville, where my Airbnb is. I like this area. It's cool. And I thought I'd visit the mountains. I brought my bicycle, thinking I might have energy to ride, but I'm not going to ride. It might be I might get a short ride in a couple of days, but not recently. So my drive was supposed to take 8 hours, 15 minutes, and it ended up taking 10 hours and 30 minutes, which was a little longer than I wanted, but it was no issue, not a big deal. Now, day two was interesting. I woke up here at day two, and I was remembering my dreams, and 3 times in my dream, I had started to eat something and remembered that I was on a water diet, a water fast, and had to stop eating. 3 different times. Oh, I'm fasting. So that's pretty much the way it was. Yeah, and I noticed the achy muscles. The place I'm staying at, she calls it Hidden Garden. Her parents have made a nice garden around the back, and you go up a little trail, and then it's got little hills and stuff. And my leg muscles were aching a lot more than they shouldn't have ached at all, but they were aching, and so I'm noticing that. Now, on day 3, I drove out to the Blue Ridge Mountains because I want to see Mount Mitchell, the tallest peak east of the Mississippi. I have that as one of my goals, to ride my bicycle up that, and I wanted to see what that was looking like. And let me tell you, it's a drive up there, so I'm going to have to get down to under 190 before I attempt to ride that, because that would be a lot of extra work carrying all this weight. So I hiked to the top from the parking lot, and that was 300 yards, pretty steep. And yeah, my muscles ached. And the interesting thing was, I felt like I had to sit down and rest. And I didn't expect that. I wear my Apple Watch, and I set it up for exercise, and it's keeping track of my heart rate. My heart rate was only 120, but I sat down because it makes sense, right? But when I ride my bike, I can ride my bike and do 30 miles at a heart rate of 155, no problem. So I think keto's doing something there. Oh, now here's the interesting thing. I told you I was going to tell you about when my ketones went up. So I thought, maybe all this exercise, I did another hike, maybe 3/4 of a mile up another mountain, and it had a lot of rocks, and it was a nice hike. And I thought, that little bit of exercise, I'm thinking my body must have needed more energy. I bet it kicked up the, burning fat and turned them into ketones. So I came back and checked my ketones level, and sure enough, they were up to here. Now today, they're back down to here, but for that little bit of exercise, they kicked up. So I found that interesting. Now day four, I didn't sleep well, which really surprised me, because when I started that get the keto diet 2 weeks ago, I cut out. I haven't had any caffeine for 2 weeks. I thought, oh, I'd sleep great. Now I saw other YouTubers say that they didn't sleep well. They had a hard time sleeping when they were doing a water fast. So maybe that's it. So I didn't sleep well, but when I finally got to sleep, I woke up around noon, and then I listened to Navy beat Air Force in football, which is a good thing. And then I spent the rest of the day in bed. I was listening to podcasts, listening to music, and just not burning any energy at all. And we're almost to the end. Now we're up to today. Today's my 5th day. What time is it? Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Almost time for dinner. You want to have dinner with me? I'll go get my dinner. There's my dinner. So what's interesting is, it doesn't cost me anything for food in this Airbnb. I'm staying for $70 a night. This place got a bedroom, huge sitting area, full bathroom, full kitchen with utensils, $70. It's a great deal. And I don't have to pay for any food. I just drink water. But I do put electrolytes in. I make my own electrolytes. And I'll show you a little bit about that in maybe tomorrow's video. What else did I do? Oh, what else I want to tell you? I'm taking all the medicine. So, I have different medicines. I got medicines for mood, and then I take a vitamin pill, and I don't know, I take other stuff, CoQ10. And so I take that, and I take aspirin from time to time for those muscle aches, especially when I'm trying to get to bed because they ache and you don't want to get to sleep. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Maybe I'll check in tomorrow and the next day. Thanks again for joining and listening to my fasting experience. Okay, I'd like to thank you for sticking with me for this long. Today is Wednesday, day 8 of my fast. And so my last meal was a week ago Tuesday at 6 p.m. It was chicken wings. And tomorrow I'm going to drive back down to Orlando. I should get there 6 or 7. And I'm going to have some chicken broth when I get there and end my fast. And that will be 9 full days. I'm pretty excited about that. It's only been 2 days, but looking at my notes, I've got a lot more to tell you than I did the first time, apparently. So we'll see how that goes. My previous 2 days were pretty much like my first days. Muscle aches that I treated with Tylenol. I know I said aspirin in the last segment, but I meant to say Tylenol. That's what I'm using. And what do I got here now? Oh, yesterday. I'm all excited about this. So yesterday I went to the market to get some more water because I didn't know if I was going to have enough water for the trip back down to Orlando, and I wanted to have plenty of water. So when I got to the store, I'm looking around and sparkling water. And I'm thinking, yep, that would be good and I would enjoy that. So, getting a message. And so I bought some. And then I looked at the flavored waters, and the flavored waters had 2 grams of carbs, so I skipped those. And I was so excited about deciding to get some sparkling water. I'd see what else they had, and they had some water that had electrolytes to improve flavor. So I got that too, see what that was like. And kind of researched it after I bought it when I got back here. And sure enough, seltzer water, which is H2O plus CO2, is fine. Flavored waters are fine as long as they don't have any carbohydrates. Now, the issue with those are they can increase your cravings, apparently. The propensity for that with seltzer water is low, and if you're drinking flavored water, you might get some cravings. It's saying that's a lot higher, so I'm glad I didn't look farther to find some without carbs. Now, here I am, day 8 of my fast. I've got the achy muscles, and I've just been taking it easy because of the achy muscles, and I don't want to burn up any muscle tissue. So I've just been taking it easy. But when I started telling people that I was going to do this fast, and I was telling them I'll go about 10 days, anyone who had not had experience with fasting, they would say things like, "Are you sure? That sounds awful dangerous. Are you going to be under the care of a doctor? I don't think you should do that. You should eat some food." And anybody who had ever fasted said, "Oh, good for you." So, so did I need a doctor? No, I don't think so. You might need a doctor. I haven't needed a doctor so far. I'm kind of curious what the aches are about. So if anybody knows that, let me know. I'll try to do some more research and figure that out. But that's that. Now, yeah, so I really didn't want to exercise and break down my muscles without eating any protein. So, I went on those hikes and I brought my bicycle, but, I feel like no. But, when I woke up this morning, there was no aches and pains. And so I thought, wow, that's nice. If I was going to fast longer, I wonder how long this would last. So I decided to go for a bicycle ride. I thought I'd get in 10 miles, an easy pace, not your 16 to 19 miles an hour. I was thinking I'll go, 8, 10 miles an hour, just putzing around. And so I got all dressed out, put all the lights on my bike, put my biking shoes on, got some water in my water bottle, got on my bike, and 0.7 of a mile later, I was like, I'm done. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I was out of breath, and I felt like, when I take a tight turn, like, I'm losing my balance a little bit. So no. I got off that bike because one of my goals of fasting is not getting hurt. And I was out of breath like I did on the hike. And I'm thinking, I'm at 2,700 feet. So between the fasting and the altitude from Orlando, which is, maybe 150 feet, maybe that's hitting it. So I said, that's it. Okay. Now what do I have here? I want to say something about the doctor. Oh. This is an important message. So the real danger of fasting is not just drinking water and not eating. The real danger is when you start eating again. And when you start eating again, that's known as breaking your fast. And if you do it wrong, some things can go wrong. I mean, think about it. All of my organs, many of my organs have been on vacation. They haven't had to do anything. I mean, think about my stomach. I haven't digested anything. It's probably the size of a little walnut right now. Pancreas has no reason to spit out a bunch of insulin. Spleen and gallbladder, I don't really know what they do. I think they're involved in digestion. If you know what they do, let me know. But they're not doing what they do. So that's that. The liver, again, involved in digestion. I got a good detox going. I'm just drinking water, so I'm thinking my liver's it's cleaned itself out. It's gotten rid of dead cells, and now it's just resting, enjoying life. And then, organ. They tell you that's the biggest organ. What am I talking about? Skin. They tell you that's the biggest organ on your body. My heart seems to be working, except when I was doing that hike and stuff, feeling like it's coming out of my chest. So I sat down. Having an electrolyte imbalance can affect your heart, so you gotta be careful about that. Which is one reason why I'm taking electrolytes every day. My lungs are working, and my brain. And then I guess there's some other minor organs that I might have forgot about in different glands. Oh, my phone keeps going black. I have to turn that setting off because I want to watch myself there. Okay, so, they say your brain, after about day 3 of a fast, you're supposed to get this real clear thinking. And no, I haven't noticed that. So if you've experienced that, let me know what it feels like, because I'm not seeing it. Okay, so now why did I go through that whole list? The list is that the organs have been on hiatus. And even your intestines also, I guess those are an organ. So you can't just start chowing down after you finish your water fast. And in my mind, it seems like, oh, I'm done with the water fast. Now I'm on a light food fast, because basically the rule of thumb is for every 3 days you're fasting, you need to take 1 day to ramp up the type of food and the amount of food that you're eating so that you don't run into problems. And over here, my iPad, I got a list of kind of problems you can have. So what does it say? It says, There's one on here. Oh gosh, I thought I knew exactly where it was, so I wouldn't have to make you guys wait. Oh, here you go. Sudden intake of rich foods risks refeeding syndrome. Refeeding syndrome. A potentially serious or fatal electrolyte imbalance, especially after long fasts. Now, I don't know what they consider long fast, but 9 days in my books, yeah, it sounds like a long fast. And when they say potentially serious, what they're talking about is putting you in the emergency room or death. That's pretty serious. So you want to make sure and research how to come off your fast and eat food so that you're confident that you're not going to, the word is die. So here's possible risks of improper breaking your fast. Gastrointestinal issues, stomach pain, nausea, vomit, diarrhea, dangerous drops or spikes in blood sugar and blood pressure, heart arrhythmias from sudden shifts in electrolytes, especially potassium and sodium, longer recovery if the fast is broken with difficult to digest foods, disruption of gut bacteria. So difficult to digest foods, those are going to be your meats, oils. So basically, when I get back down to Orlando, I'm going to start off with, so you don't want to eat raw vegetables. High fiber, those are difficult to digest. So you don't want to eat raw. You don't want to eat a salad, even though that might sound good. No. So I'm going to start with bone broth, even though I've never had bone broth in my entire life. That's kind of recommended. They say you can have chicken broth. It's kind of, anyway, so I'm going to start with bone broth. And then the other one I'm going to do is I'm going to steam some cauliflower and I'll salt and pepper it. I prefer roasted cauliflower, but I don't want to take any oil early on. Maybe the second day I'll start roasting my vegetables, but not the first day. And I'll stick with bone broth and well-cooked vegetables through the second day. And then I'll start introducing some little more stuff, and I'll figure it out as I go. So that's about all I have to say. And what I'll do is I'll check back in with you after I have completed my fast and I start eating. I meet friends at Tuesday nights, usually at a steakhouse, and I'll be all done and back to normal eating then. So maybe I'll show you a photograph of the steak and the food I'm going to eat. I'm going to stick with a keto diet. As I want to call it, I don't want to say keto diet. I want to say I'm going to a keto lifestyle. And I've been researching all kinds of foods for that and recipes, because last time I was on it, I didn't have a big variety of food, and I think that there is a huge variety of keto menus out there. I just have to take the time to cook for it. So I'm going to plan pretty much 3 hours a day cooking for myself. But one of the things I really love is jalapeno poppers that I make, and I'll probably put a video together of how to make those. Yeah, and you can make those up ahead of time, and you can cook them up and then freeze them, or you can freeze them and then cook them up after you thaw them. And one more thing I wanted to show you is the electrolytes that I make for myself. I told you earlier that they are 12 cents a serving, and I put them in these little things. The only problem with these things, there's two problems with these little things. Is one, they don't pour straight into a bottle. You got to use a little funnel. I just, curl up a piece of paper and put them in for a bottle. But like my bicycle bottles was just where I drink most of these, or in a glass. They just pour right in. So I'll do a video on how I make these too, because I think it's nuts paying $1 for these when you can get them for 12 cents, and it's the exact same ingredients. I forget the brand I have at home, but it's not Element. It's one of the others. I'll put it in my video. But, I formulated these to have the exact same gram weight as those because I liked the one I was using. That's what I'm going to do. And for flavoring and sweetness, I use monk fruit powder. Monk fruit's like the pinnacle. It's above stevia as far as being a great sweetener with no calories and completely natural. So I use that. And I use just citric acid for just a little flavor, and it's adequate. I'm not going to write home about the flavor, but it's really good. I don't notice anything wrong with it when I'm bicycling. Okay, that's it, and I will see you in a few days when I break my fast. When my break my fast is over. Thanks again.
Okay, so I'd like to thank you for sticking with me. This is going to be my last segment. I'm going to talk about how I feel now. It's been 10 days since I finished the fast, and I'll go over what I did to break the fast and how everything's going. So I drove back on Thursday, which was day 9 of my fast, and I picked up some bone broth on the way home. And when I got home, it was about 6 p.m. So I heated that up and ate a bowl of bone broth. I was kind of tired, so just watched a little TV and went to bed, drank some water. Actually, I drank water before the bone broth. That's what they say to do, is make sure you're hydrated before you start breaking your fast. And then the next day, Friday I had some bone broth about 10 a.m. And then for dinner, I met some friends at a restaurant. So I had some 6 grilled shrimp and some cauliflower. And that was just fine. And then Saturday, a little more bone broth. I don't recall exactly what I ate, but I did want to get some solid food into me. Not solid, but some more protein, because I was going for a ride on Sunday morning with my riding buddies. And that was one reason why I came back. I was going to come back Friday, but I came back Thursday, so I'd have an extra day to eat before I was going to get on the bike. We started at sunup. It was a nice day out, maybe 70 degrees, and I went 25 miles, no problem at all. It was really good, because I had a lot of energy. I was carrying less weight and felt good. I drank electrolytes before the ride, 2 bottle electrolytes during the ride, some water. I go through a lot of liquids when I ride. I always notice that I just sweat so much more than other people, and I have to just stay hydrated, and electrolytes just come right out my skin. I can ride that whole time, drink 4 bottles of water, and I won't have to urinate for 2 hours after the ride, and I have to drink some more. I mean, I just go through liquid like that. So what else do I want to tell you? So I did that. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you how much weight I lost. So when I got back on Thursday, I weighed myself in, and I was 23 and a half pounds lighter, down from 246 to whatever that was. And the next morning when I woke up, I was 25 pounds lighter, 221. And then since then, I've been eating and whatnot. I've stabled out at about 20 pounds lighter. I've stayed in ketosis. I checked that with the urine strips, and I'm staying in ketosis, and I'm feeling pretty good. Remember, just last Sunday, not a couple days ago, was my second bike ride, and I went 32 miles. Again, felt really good, no issues. So feel like I'm good to go. I'm off the fast. But there was one interesting thing. I've just set up an urban salsa garden out on some shelves in my back porch there. And as I was hauling all that dirt and everything, I felt okay, but I was returning the rental truck to Home Depot. And while I was standing there, I could just feel my heart rate jumping up, and I was like getting out of breath. I don't know if I was getting a little stressed because she's trying to charge me $60 for a gallon of gas, and I said, look, I don't mind overpaying for 1 gallon of gas, but I'm not overpaying for 4 gallons of gas. So I gave her $15 for 1 gallon of gas. But I feel like that was stressing me out, that little confrontation. But, I had certainly tracked my heart rate, and it had jumped up to 200 RPMs. And I tracked it, and it took about an hour to come down. I'll see if I can post a graph on here so you can take a look. But, I talked to my general practitioner, and he says, if that happens again, just go to the ER and have them check it out. They'll call in a cardiologist. So anyway, I'm getting a second opinion later this week, and we'll see what's going on there. Anyway, so I'm very happy with how my fast went. If you decide to do it, make sure you look into it. Do it safely. with that heart rate jump, I feel like, yeah, maybe doctors monitoring is a good idea. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but everything I saw said, you should start out with a shorter fast, like 3 days, and get used to that. And then in a couple months, do it a little longer. And that's what I did. I did a 3.5, 4 day fast a few months back, and now I've done it again. So I feel like I'm good to go. Find out when my heart was racing, and that'll be that. So thanks again.